YouTube. How we doing, family? It's your boy Yo Hoops, and there's another episode of Fading the Public. We go through every NBA game every day. Today's Saturday, January 18th, and we have a 6-game NBA card. I'm gonna walk you guys through every game, let you know what I like, and I have one highlighted play for today. I'm gonna get us back on track. Thank you so much for tuning in, and let me get into the recap. Recapping yesterday, we went 1-1 on our highlighted plays. We split them, so not bad, but nothing to write home about. Our first play was the New Orleans Pelicans minus 11.5 points against the Utah Jazz. We were able to cash with this one. It got a little sweaty in the fourth quarter. The Pelicans only won by 13, but we were able to print. Our next play was the Oklahoma City Thunder minus 7.5 against the Dallas Mavericks. That game was tough. Shy was ruled out right before game time, so there was a huge line movement. I wasn't able to catch that myself. I had locked in Oklahoma City minus the 7.5, and the Mavs ended up winning the game. So, hey, we split the day. We're still 22-8 ATS on all of our highlighted plays. Still up big units, but I'm looking to get back in that win column today. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And let me get into today's games. In our first matchup, we have the Phoenix Suns in Detroit taking on the Detroit Pistons. Suns are laying 2 points, and the total is 226.5. I know the Pistons lost their last game against the Pacers. We were on the Pistons in that one, but still, when I look at them in 2025, the Pistons are 5-1 in the new year. So they've been hooping. When I look at Phoenix, they're 3-4 as road favorites, so they haven't been anything special in this spot. Obviously, they're laying 2 points here in Detroit. When I look back at the last matchup the Suns were in against the Wizards, I didn't like what I saw either. We're on the Wizards plus the 11 points, and Phoenix looked dominant for about half the game, and then it looked like the wheels fell off in the second half. And like I told you guys, missing Nurkic, the presence of a true big man, the Suns might be in trouble when they're not knocking down all of their shots. When I look at the injury report for this game, Nurkic is still out, and then Bradley Beal is doubtful for this one. On the Pistons side, they're only missing Jaden Ivey, which we know he'll be missing for some duration of time. But besides that, the Pistons are healthy here. I think this is a perfect situation for the Pistons to stack another home win here. We're taking the Pistons plus the 2 as our first selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Atlanta Hawks in Boston taking on the Boston Celtics. Celtics are laying 10.5 points, and the total is 234.5. Off rip, when I look at the injury report for the Hawks, it does worry me here. So Zachary Resasher is ruled out, Jalen Johnson is questionable, and then Trae Young and DeAndre Hunter are both probable. So keep an eye on that because that's a lot of the main pieces for the Hawks there. The Celtics are healthy, it looks like here. They are on a back-to-back, but when I look at the Celtics record on a back-to-back this season, they're 5-1. So they've been hooping in this spot. I just think this game, it comes down to Trae Young playing the Celtics tough for me. He does that with a lot of the big market teams, LA, New York, Boston. He likes to go in there and show out, hit the crowd with a brrr, Trae Young go crazy. When I look at the matchup between the Celtics and the Hawks have won 2 of the last 3 meetings, and the one that Boston did win out of the last 3, they didn't cover this 10.5 point spread. So I think 10.5 is just too much, especially if Trae Young ends up playing. I think he hoops here, and we're taking the Hawks plus the 10.5 points. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Philadelphia 76ers in Indiana taking on the Indiana Pacers. Pacers are laying 9 points, and the total is 223.5. This line has been growing, so it was released at Pacers -8. I've seen -8.5, and now it's Pacers -9. When I look at the injury reports, Isaiah Jackson will be out for the Pacers. For the Sixers, this IR is a mile long. So Embiid, Kyle Lowry, and Caleb Martin are ruled out for the Sixers. And then Paul George, Andre Drummond, and Yabusele are all questionable. Definitely keep an eye on that, but still that injury report is way too much for me to even look in the Sixers' direction. When I look at Philly here, they've already been underperforming I mean, mind you, they've been having health issues this whole season, but still they're 3-7-1 as road underdogs. So they have not been showing up getting points on the road in this spot. I love the Pacers. I love how they've been playing. They're 7-1 coming into the new year, and I think they stack another dub here. We're taking the Pacers -9 as our highlighted play of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Washington Wizards in Golden State taking on the Golden State Warriors. Warriors are laying 13.5 points, and the total is 228.5. This game is tough for me because while the Warriors are obviously the way more talented squad, they are banged up here, and I feel like this is a motivation spot for the Wizards. So when I look at the injury reports, the Warriors are without Kyle Anderson, Jonathan Kuminga, and Pozemski, and those aren't necessarily new additions to the IR, but those guys are still out. Draymond Green is probable here as well, but he should go. For the Wizards, they're only without Marvin Bagley. It looks like they're getting more healthy here. The last matchup between these two teams, it ended 125-112. So the Warriors won by 13 points, but that was in Washington. Ultimately, I think this game being in Golden State, I think they're able to cover the 13.5. They showed us that they could practically cover this spread in Washington. And I think here with Draymond and Steph Curry going, the Warriors are able to throttle the Wizards. It's a lean, but we're taking the Warriors minus the 13.5 points. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers in Minnesota taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Cavs are laying 7 points, and the total is 227. When I look at the injury report in this game, so for the Cavaliers, Evan Mobley and Isaac Okoro are both questionable. Definitely keep an eye on Mobley because if he doesn't go, that's huge for the Cavs, and I would assume this line is going to change pretty dramatically. For the Timberwolves side, Dante DiVincenzo will not go, and besides that, they're looking relatively healthy. I think this game is competitive. In my opinion, Anthony Edwards is the best player on the court in this game, so take that as you will. I love what I saw from the Timberwolves yesterday. So they are on a back-to-back. They played the Knicks yesterday. We were on the Wolves. And Ant dropped 36 points. Naz Reid was raining from three, going crazy. I really like how the Wolves were playing. When I think about Cleveland's last game against OKC, I hated what I saw. We were on the Cavs +3. They were getting bruised up, and that's with OKC having no big man presence. We saw, obviously, Shai didn't play, but we saw how that loomed a problem having no big men against the Mavs yesterday. And the Cavs got absolutely dismantled by that Thunder team. So this game, for me, it's tough just because the Wolves are on a back-to-back. If they weren't, this would make a highlighted play, but I still love the Timberwolves plus the 7 points as our next selection of today. In our last and final matchup of the evening, we have the Houston Rockets in Portland taking on the Portland Trailblazers. Rockets are laying 11.5 points, and the total is 224.5. The Rockets have been hooping coming into the new year. I know that, and really all season this season. We saw the loss against Sacramento in their last game. We were on the Kings there, minus the 4 points. Kings ended up winning by 5. But outside of that Kings game for the Rockets, they had won their last 5 games in a row. So they're 5-1 in the new year. I like how they've been playing. When I look at the Blazers side, they haven't impressed me at all. Obviously, we were on them against the Clippers in their last match, and they got aired out by 50 points. The Clippers are in that mode, but still, like I'm saying, I haven't liked what I've seen from Portland. The thing for me in this one is I'm just not ready to give up on the Blazers that easy. I mean, they're still 9-7 ATS as home underdogs. You're still up and profitable betting on the Blazers in this situation. So, hey, even though they tried to get us off of them last game with that blowout, it's not that easy for me. When I look at the last matchup between these two teams, Portland won 104-98. They won outright in Houston against the Rockets. We know Houston is where they go crazy, and Portland was able to get a win in Houston. So I think this 11.5 is too much here. As our last selection of the evening, we're taking the Portland Trailblazers plus the 11.5 points. And that's going to conclude today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I love the highlighted play of the day today, so make sure you lock that in. I wouldn't be surprised to see the line grow throughout the day. It means the world you guys tuning in. I'm going to be here every day doing this for free. Make sure you leave that like and subscribe. We're 22 and 8 ATS now on all highlighted plays, but I still feel like I'm in a funk. I know we're up huge units, but I like to stay in that win column. So I'm going to keep putting in the work and making sure I'm giving you guys winners. It's your boy, Yo Hoops. And until the next one, I'll catch y'all. Peace.